Legal representatives for the SAPS urges the Marikana Commission of Inquiry not to look at the conduct of the police on August 16 as an isolated matter. And food and non-alcoholic beverages remain the biggest household consumption expenditure items in 2010 and 2011. I'm Richard Brooks. Legal representatives for the South African Police Service, SAPS, has urged the Marikana Commission of Inquiry not to look at the conduct of the police on August 16 as an isolated matter. 34 striking mine workers were killed during skirmishes with the police. The request follows a submission by legal teams for the families of the deceased mine workers who have asked the Commission to give preference to the events of August 16. Advocate Ishmael Semenya explains.
Now, Mr. Mpofu must be correct to say what caused the deaths of 34 people on the 16th. Its common cause is the police shooting. So we're not expediting their matter purely to cover the cause. It is what are the underlying reasons resulting in the loss of those 34 lives. That is the inquiry. And we're saying, now, if we had to look at the explaining factors for it, we cannot then break it up into various pieces.
The National Union of Mineworkers, NUM, says it's happy that striking miners at Goldfields' KDC East mine on the far West Rand have returned to work after a 23-day strike. All Goldfields mines in South Africa are now back in production. The mine had dismissed 8,100 employees for participating in an unprotected strike. Late last month, a deal was reached with NUM and most of the workers were reinstated. NUM's Lesiba Sishoka.
We welcome the idea of the workers returning back to work at Goldfields. It's a welcome development, and we wish that we could no longer see the wave of strike action that we have seen before. We are happy that at long last we have found a solution together.
Food and non-alcoholic beverages remain the biggest household consumption expenditure items in 2010 and 2011. The latest Stats SA income and expenditure survey for the same period notes that household consumer spending rose to almost 70%, while household income rose to 16.7% for the same period. The average household consumer spending in South Africa increased from 56,000 rands in 2005-2006 to 95,000 rands per annum in 2010-2011. Kefilwe Masiteng is Deputy Director General at Stats SA.
Basically what you see is that there has been an increase in terms of household income over the past 5 years. You have also seen an increase in terms of the household expenditure, average household, therefore consumption has also increased. Now we can only attribute them to the increases in prices of food, we can attribute them to the prices of electricity tariffs, and then we would attribute them to the increases in the prices of housing and all the other things that have increased in terms of the quality of life.
Polls have just opened in the United States, and tens of millions of Americans are expected to cast their votes to decide whether to re-elect President Barack Obama or hand the job over to Republican Mitt Romney. The voting ends a hard-fought race that began nearly 2 years ago and has cost more than $2 billion. Polls show the race is a neck and neck, although the president holds a slender polling lead in crucial swing states.